Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to transfer my rooted cuttings to soil mix. This is going to be the third video, and if you want to know how I got to this point, just check out the first two videos. But there's substantial root growth on a lot of my cuttings, and they're in this vermiculite perlite mixture, and now I'm going to transfer them to soil mixture, and hopefully they'll progress from there on, and I'll be well on my way to having a nice fig tree. One of the containers you can transfer them to, this is a 1 gallon commercial trade pot. You can get these, online or on eBay. I purchased mine on eBay. Some figs I just went and I tried the process of just transferring them directly once I had the initial roots right into soil. I've got really good strong root growth here, so next year I might even try a lot more with just going directly into this soil with perlite mixture to lighten it up. Normally roots aren't going to be exposed to sun, and probably is detrimental to the roots, so you can either cover this with foil, or I found these, unfortunately they only had 18-ounce cups at the local grocery store. But I just cut the bottom off, and you can cover it. It doesn't cover the whole thing, but again, you can put foil over this to block out the sunlight. But I'm making there's some pretty good strong root growth here, so I might stick to this method. So let's start taking this out of this mixture. One of the negatives of transitioning out of this, I guess, is you have to disturb the roots. There's no way around it. You just try to do it as carefully as possible and go from there. But don't just grab the stem here and pull it out, because you just rip off all the roots. So I like to ease it out. Just put it between my fingers like this and slowly work it out of the cup. Even though this is plastic, they really seem to be sticking to the sides. And one of the benefits, of course, is that this is a lot more sterile mixture than soil. So there still might be some negative to having soil. There it goes. That was really in there. So I've got some pretty good root growth here. So you can see here at least a good amount of root growth, and it's only on one side though. The way this is developed, all the root clump is on this one side. I like to try to get up as much of this perlite or vermiculite out as possible, but I don't know, without doing anything more, you just start damaging roots. So with the trade pot, I like to get these large nuggets, the pine nuggets that they have, and block up a lot of the holes on the bottom here, because I'm going to be using a mixture of soil and perlite, and they'll just flow out of these large holes. So this will allow for good drainage, and then it'll also keep the soil from coming out of the holes in the bottom here. let's start off. I think it's pretty much a 50-50 mixture I have here. You want a good draining soil. I'd rather be watering more frequently than having a wet soil with these new cuttings. Alright, really the roots are really grown into that, so better just leave well enough alone with this instead of trying to get it perfect. So I'll start putting soil in around the root mass here. Now, there are probably people in the Middle East or in Turkey or in other countries that look at this video and say, gee, they're making a big deal out of this. We just stick them in the ground and that's how we get our cuttings. But, you know, I'm in the Northeast here in the U.S. and it's still 39 degrees outside and the soil still hasn't warmed up. And obtaining cuttings in the first place, it's not like you have a large amount of cuttings that you can make a lot of mistakes on. So you know, these aren't steadfast rules. You can find your own, experiment on your own, see what works in your area. For you know, what works for me might not work for you, and vice versa. And you know, maybe you can come up with something. I've seen people with some new innovative ways of getting. Some people just are able to stick these in just in a container of water and they get them to root. I haven't tried that. So there you go. This one's all potted up and hopefully it's going to start progressing and I'm not going to lose it at this stage after all the initial effort I put into it. But again, water it in. Don't expose it. Don't go throwing this outside and exposing it to direct sunlight. You have to, just like you do with tomatoes, you have to harden it off and slowly get it to adapt to outside conditions and outside sunlight. So initially you want this to just be exposed to ambient light. Now you can see some of these cuttings here. This has got a lot of a lot of growth on top, but not as many roots as you'd expect. Here's another variety, LSU Gold. Again, some of these I'm going to transfer. I like the smaller volume of soil. I mean, it's such a young plant and doesn't have a really large root mass that I figure, you know, a small volume of soil instead of a very large volume of soil that can, you know, promote rot, to be able to handle the smaller amount of soil a lot better. So, you know, just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Try different options, and if you've got multiples of the same cutting, you know, try different things and see what works. And if you lose one to one technique, then maybe the other one gives you that backup, and you have more success, and you learn from your mistakes. This one here is the raspberry latte. It's got a lot of root growth on this one. So, some people down south, they put these cuttings just directly into the soil. There's a problem with nematodes, and nematodes are small microscopic worms that pretty much destroy your roots and destroy the ability of the plant to grow and get the nutrients out of the ground. So that's a big problem. And so here's another one. This is Violet de Bardot, or grown, and it's got substantial root growth. I'm going to put this into one of the trade pots since it has really significant good root growth. So I've already filled up the bottom with the nuggets and a little bit of soil in the bottom, and I guess you could bury it a little bit deeper. I like to bury it pretty much the same level that it developed in. So I've shaken off a lot of the perlite vermiculite mixture, and it seems like I didn't damage the roots too much. You can see where the roots are actually coming out of the top, and they just dried out because, as soon as they came out of the mixture, they didn't have adequate moisture, so they just dried out. So this is really at a stage where it really does need to be, repotted into the soil mixture, give it more volume. This variety here is, like I was saying, it's one of the stronger varieties. This is a very vigorous plant, this Negron. I mean, it seemed to have taken off right overnight with the root growth. Others, I still have varieties that are still in their baggies and don't even have root initials yet. So there's a significant difference between the varieties. Some are just, they can take up to a month or even longer before you can get the roots. And depending on where the cutting was taken from, sometimes tip cuttings grow faster or root faster than non-tip cuttings. And it just depends. It depends on where you are too. Some cuttings just might, grow better in the warmer climate that you're in. Or so let's go ahead and add the soil mixture to this. So I hope these videos have helped you out. If you haven't seen the first two videos, you might want to look at them and review them, and hopefully they've helped and given you a little bit, if you haven't even started, giving you an interest in maybe trying this out. I like to shake it to settle the soil down around the roots. And then don't forget to label. You don't want to forget that, because you can quickly lose track of what variety is what. So make sure you put the labels in. Not later, you plan on it, but something comes up, phone rings, doorbell rings, and before you know it, you forgot what is what. So make sure the label. So again, I hope these videos have helped, and check out the other 2 videos, and good luck, and hopefully you'll get to try some of your own figs out of your own garden. Thank you.